Guys, welcome. I see Thelma and Alice and Betty and Annette. Who else is here, honey? Oh, there we go. Did I say Sharma? Sharma. Hi, Sharma. Sandy. Hi, Sandy. And let's see. I think that might be it for now. We'll probably have more join us shortly. We're going to make such fun cards today, guys. You are going to love these. Just love them. So let's go ahead and go to my hands. And we will start by taking a look at what you get in your kit. Now, I think we're down to 3 or 4 of these. Could you check that, honey, and link it? I think we're down to just 3 or 4 of these kits left. Bryce will put a link up here for you in just a minute. I guess we have 5. We have 5 of these left. So if you want one, go ahead and grab it. These are being grabbed up by people in class as well and on site as well as folks online. Okay, let's take a look. So you're going to get the Midnight Tales journaling cards. There's 32 of them in this pack. So those are really helpful. You're going to get black cards and envelopes. Now, that doesn't sound like a big deal, except I didn't have any black cards upstairs when I started my sample, so I took white cards and covered them in black. This is much easier. You're going to get Midnight Tales chipboard. You're going to get a sheet of black 12 by 12 cardstock. I found a few things I wanted to either trim out or I wanted mats. So I added a piece of chipboard black cardstock to your kit. Let's take a look at our papers. You get 2 of each of these. So you get this one, which is called Full Moon. And it has this really wonderful Halloween stripe on the back. Love that. You get this one called Fairy Mischief. And it has the little fairies on the front. And it has this wonderful all over word print on the back. This is one of my favorites. This one's called Hocus Pocus. Love the colors, of course. I love the purple and the oranges and the greens together. I like the little stamps and I like the witches on their brooms. It's cute. And it has this very versatile orange print on the back. And this one, we get a pumpkin field. This one's called Hallows Eve. That last one was called Hocus Pocus. This one's called Hallows Eve. And we have one side that's covered with pumpkins and the other side that has 6 by 6 prints. Love this one too. This is beautiful. This is Magic in the Air. And you get this wonderful flower print on one side and a very versatile purple on the back side. This one we're just going to really trim up and use in lots of different ways. A lot of our bands are coming from this one. This one's called Abracadabra, and it just has so many useful elements on it. It's great. And on the back, it has this marvelous black cat print. This one is called Midnight Tales, and it has this beautiful print on the front. Some useful elements on the front. We're going to steal lots of those elements, and then we have spider webs on the back. So we have a beautiful pack of paper for you. And you get all of this in your class kit. It's a very rich class kit with all of the Midnight Tales by Graphic 45. Let's take a look at what we're going to make. Here's that beautiful orange stripe that I like. And each of our cards is made in a gatefold. We'll make our gatefolds ourselves out of our 5 by 7 black cards. And all of our cards have a band. And when we open them up, all of our cards have a hidden feature. So we're going to use all our different papers to combine. And these cards are covered all the way around, which makes them really unusual and nice. They're heavy cards. They're going to take extra postage, know that. But they are just beautiful. Here's my black cat topper. And it all opens up. All Hallows Eve inside. So cute on the back. In a few little cases, I've used some accents out of my personal collection. They don't have to be there on this tag. I could have written something instead. I put 2 baths on there. That's actually off a sticker sheet I have. But look at this lovely print. It's just so bright and cheery, isn't it? Magical, it says on this one. Magical. I might start with this one. I don't know why. I just like the idea of starting with this one. Of course, I could start with any of them and I'd be just as pleased. We've got our black cats, trick or treat. Opening up to trick or treat with the black cat in the middle. This one's really fun too. They're all fun. This is just really fun paper. And I had so much fun with the Graphic 45 Halloween papers. I turned around and did a second class in Graphic 45 for next Thursday. Then we'll be done with Halloween. So fun. Trick or treat. And finally, we have Hocus Pocus and the Little Fairies. I did get the pattern for this card from Graphic 45. However, they were using 8x8 paper. I was using 12x12 and they had different prints. So our combinations of papers and things, they're all our own. Okay, let's go ahead and get started here. And I'm going to set my envelopes aside for now. We're going to grab one of these 5x7 cards, and this is how we're going to convert our 5x7 card to a that's really heavy. Oh, these are different cards than I used last time. We're going to convert our 5x7 to a gatefold by taking each side of our 5x7 and we're folding it to the score line in the center. Try and get a really good match on this one, guys. What I like to do is actually butt that right up to the last one that I did and hold it in place and see if we can get just a really solid match, because our card will look better if it matches up completely. So go ahead and fold those in. Now, some of you are going to get a little bit lighter weight cards, which actually will make this folding process a little easier. This is one card where I actually kind of appreciate having the lighter weight one. I don't know which one I said I'm starting with, but I'll start with this one because it's there. Okay, so I have my first gatefold card ready to go. I'm going to look through my paper pack and I'm going to find my Oliver spider print. And I'm going to cut 2 pieces from this, the spider web. Now, one thing I really like about the spider web is I can use it either direction I want to. So that's good. First thing you want to do is chop off that border strip. If you don't chop off that border strip first, then you risk that it gets into one of your cut designs. So I'm going to cut myself 2 pieces. Yeah, 2 pieces that are 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. I'm not going to cut clear downs from my paper because I want to have the largest scraps left I can so I can get as much out of my paper as possible. So 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. This paper is a little bit directional, although it really wouldn't matter because you see you have the spiders dropping down. So it's a little bit directional, but if you had to use it the other way, nobody in the world would ever notice. So I'm going to cut myself another slice of this paper. That's 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. There we go. So when I said I'm not cutting all the way through, all I mean is just that I'm leaving the biggest possible scraps that I can. We're going to go to the back of this paper, and we're going to go ahead and put one of these right across the back where we just folded that. I hope that I have enough glue here. My glue bottles didn't find their way back to me after quilling class. They keep stealing my bottles because we have a good sized group of people coming for quilling class. Oh, we had so much fun last night, guys. We had our very first post-COVID Crafty Friends event here. And we have a meetup group. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the concept of meetup, but meetup is an organization through which you can post community activities and interest groups. We have a group called Crafty Friends, and we had just started having activities with Crafty Friends when COVID broke out, and then we had to cancel everything, of course. And we haven't had anything going on through COVID, but the membership in the group kept going up to where we had 230, 240 members in our local interest group called Crafty Friends. So I decided that it was time to get that group active again. And then I had my on-site Friday night group called Crafty Friends that hadn't met for a long time. Okay, so I put one inside, leaving a border around it. I put one outside, leaving a border around it. And we had our first get together last night. I'm going to cut a slice of my paper that is 2 1/4 by 6 3/4. I actually need 2 of those. But I think I'm going to take one off my other sheet so I can keep my directions the same. And I'm going to put one each. This looks just a little long. I'm going to take just a tad more off of that. And so, hello there. Good to see you, Elsie. We invited everybody over. I asked them to bring 1 or 2 examples of what they like to do in crafting, whether that was paper crafts or albums, or one person brought her poetry and her painting. She's an artist. And another person brought her quilt. She's a quilting instructor. She brought her quilt to show. We had people with knitting and crochet and polymer clay and just all different kinds of craft interests, which was great. And we had Bryce, bless his heart, Bryce and Lauren served. And take my second sheet. I'm going to cut this strip off as my beginning place. I'm going to take my strip from this side. So I'll be cutting down through those pretty designs. I know, it's terrible. You got to do it. I'm going to take a 2 1/4 by 6 3/4. So Lauren came over and Bryce and Lauren fixed, I think, about 8 or 9 total hors d'oeuvre dishes. We had so many good things. We had meatballs and we had chicken apple sausage and we had taquitos and we had pizza and we had just so many different appetizer dishes. Some of them were like roast peanuts and others were, we finished it all off with a Ferrero Rocher. And we had everybody grab their napkins and their plates and hang on to those. And then they just kept bringing the appetizer trays around all night. And everybody had on name tags. So we went around and we visited with everybody. A lot of us saw the other things that people brought, but then the group wanted to get together as a group and kind of just have an opportunity to see and meet everybody. We had about 20 people here. And then, so we all came back into the classroom. We sat down around the big tables and okay, I'm going to go back to, I guess I'll just come to this sheet and I'm going to take this strip off the very top. So, my scissors have disappeared too. Oh, there's a pair in the drawer. That's good. So everybody went around the table, self-introduced, said something interesting about themselves, and then showed their work. And it was just so much fun. We had such great conversation as we went around the table that it took an hour and a half to go around the table for the introductions and the sharing. And the event that was supposed to go from 6 to 8 went until about 9:30. You are making water? What? I'm making water? I don't know what that means. I don't see the full chat window. Part of it's missing, so. Oh, you're making mouse water. I got it. Anyway, we had really a good time. In fact, there were 20 participants last night, and all of them are coming back. I'm doing it again, not the appetizers. I think that'd be pushing my husband just a little too far. But the Crafty Friends gathering, next time we'll just bring our projects and work on them. And we're doing that again on the 13th. We're going to do it on the third Sunday afternoon of each month. I took that strip and I'm cutting a 2 1/4 inch length of that to go the very top of my card here. So It was really, really, really a fun party. A lot of people went shopping down in the warehouse, and we just had a grand time. We really, really did. It was great fun and funny, lots of laughing, which is always good. It was just so nice to see old friends and new. We met several brand new people that I had not met before. There's one lady who was brand new into town. She'd been in town for about 4 months, hadn't met anyone yet. She's been staying with her mother. She came up from Southern California. And then her mom decided that she's going back to Southern California because she doesn't want to deal with the Oregon rain. And our new friend said, "But wait, I'll be all alone." And mom said, "Sorry, that's kind of not my problem." And so we were able to say to her, she said, "I don't know anybody." And we were able to say, "There's 20 right here that you know." You have 20 new friends right here. People you can share phone numbers with and get together and craft and do things. And it's going to be great fun for you. She almost cried when I told her she had 20 new friends. It was really neat. I'm going to take this black cat. Actually, I'm trying to decide if I like it with or without the border. This is what I have this time. It might be too bright, and this is what I had last time. What do you think? Cut off the border or leave the border on? The black cat, thank you for asking. The black cat came from this sheet. This is the back, and this is the front. I just cut out one of the stamp images up here. Okay. So, any thoughts on whether I should leave the border or cut it off? I think maybe just to be different, I'll leave it on unless I have votes. I don't see any votes. If you don't have people to socialize with in your area, I recommend looking on the computer for at Meetup, MEETUP .com or .com, and you will find that there are interest groups for just about everything you could possibly want to do. For example, there are groups that hike, and there are groups that um, get together and do poetry. There are writers groups, I'm sure, Betty, and there are groups that go. There are very special interest groups in some cases. There are people who paint and do all those kinds of things, but there are also people who like to. Oh, there it is. Dropped on the floor. There are also people who like very special interest groups. For example, there was a hiking group here locally that one of my acquaintances went to, and it was silent hiking. They just wanted to go out as a group and commune with nature. So they didn't want anybody talking. My friend had a real problem with that. She got uninvited to reattend. That was Dawn. Was telling us about her silent hiking adventure. She just couldn't help herself. Every once in a while, she spouted something off. Look at that, or this is fun, or anybody want some water, or and yeah. She got uninvited to reattend the. Okay, I'm going back to this black sheet, and I'm gonna cut myself a couple of little pieces. I think before I do that, I'll go ahead and get my. I think I can go sideways on this one. I'm going to take the remaining sheet that I have left, and there's not enough of this that's going to show that I'm going to worry too much about directionality. I suppose I could. Let me see. Oh, I can do that. Okay, I'm going to take this sheet that I have left, and I'm going to cut some pieces that are 3 3/4, 2 of them, 3 3/4 by 3 1/2. I'm cutting through this time because I'm going to use up these other little pieces. So cut 2 pieces that are 3 3/4, 3 3/4 wide by 3 1/2 long. But meetup doesn't cost anything usually, and you can go out and find special interest groups in your area that do things you want to do. If you feel like you just need some friends in your area, it's a great way to get connected with people. And all the groups are different, of course, but there's a lot of fun groups out there, and it's just a good way to find out about them. I'm going to cut these 2 leftover strips right here to 2 1/4 wide. I'm just going to go ahead and leave the length on it, but just so you know, this is 1 3/4 inch high by 2 1/4 inch wide. And I'm going to put these little strips down here on the inside of my card. So if you're looking for friends, that's a good place to start. It's meetup.org. We sure had fun though. Okay, so we got those on. They kind of look like little pockets, but that's not our purpose. I'm going to take this strip that we cut off of our trim page, and I'm going to go ahead and cut 2 2 1/4 inch strips so I can use these kitties on this border down here just to add some color and kind of continue our theme with the cat stripes on the spider web paper. And it just kind of makes it bright and pretty. I did use wider strips this time down here than I did before, but I can, we can just kind of do whatever we want, really. Okay, we have those 2 slices we cut here. We're going to get a scoreboard out. And we are going to score these pieces. And let's see. We're going to score these pieces using the long side. I want you to score it at a 1/2 inch. Oops, I'm not on the right side of my board. I don't know if that was a 1/2 inch or not. Let me just check that. I think I got a little wider than a 1/2 inch. Score it again right where I want it. Okay, we'll keep that scoreboard handy because we're going to use that a few times. And I'm going to fold it on the score line. Hi, Kim. I'm going to fold that up on the score line. And these 2 pieces Look for any directionality that you need there, because you can turn these over in the other way if necessary to get them right side up. I don't have any spiders dropping in this, so it doesn't matter. I'm going to set those aside for just a minute, and I'm going to my packet to find the one that's got the purple words on the back. I'm going to my paper pack in search of the purple words. It says magic in the air. Oh, it's actually got that's that bright pattern. This one. We're going to take this one. We're going to cut that band off first because we don't want that messing with our measurements. And we're going to cut this piece to 3.5 inches wide by 8 inches long. Three and a half inches wide by 8 inches long. Now, if you have a round cutting die, this is the time to have it available. I'm using a die that is, oh, my rulers, there's my ruler. See a piece of Margie stencil there. This die it has an inside dimension of 2 1/4 inches. You guys know me, I don't believe a whole bunch in measuring, so I'm just going to come down about that far. Let me tell you, for those of you who need to measure more than I do, I'm down about 2 inches on my card, and I'm going to cut a hole out of here. Now, if you don't have a cutting die, find something that has a bottle or something that has a base that's approximately 2 inches, and draw a circle and cut it out about 2 inches down. I probably should tape that in place just to make sure it stays there where I want it, because I don't want to waste that big piece of paper if it slides. So I'm using a piece of Post-it tape. I've seen that used a lot online lately, and it's neat. In fact, we just put some in the store yesterday. This tape is made of Post-it material, and you know the sticky's really good on Post-it notes, but it's not so sticky that it risks damaging your paper, and you can use it over and over and over again. So that's what I like to do, of course. I'm going to take my 2-inch circle out of here. Now I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to score it at 1/2 inch on both ends. So I'm going to score this end, and I'm going to score this end. Can you back up just a little so that they can kind of see more of what I'm doing? There you go. So we've got our window cut. We've got it scored on both ends. I'm going to put some glue on this tab so I can see where I'm working. I'm going to put some glue on this tab that I just folded under. And I'm going to come to the top of my card with it inside. That looks so pretty to have that bright color against the black. Don't glue the bottom yet. Don't glue the bottom yet. I need to get back to my card sample, and this time I used All Hallows Eve, so I have to figure out where I got that. It may have been on one of these. I kind of think it was. But if it wasn't, I'll figure out something else. I'm going to my journaling card pack. I also need to put one on the back. And I'm going to use the one that says postcard. It's a big one that says postcard and has pumpkins at the top and bottom. There it is right there. This was the front, but I'm going to use the back on the back of my card. And while I'm in this journaling pack, or this card pack, I'm going to find one that says All Hallows Eve. It might be on a big one. Lots of pieces of paper in this pack. There it is. All Hallows Eve. I need to check that and make sure it's going to fit under my, when I trim off the top, it's going to fit nicely through my window. So I'm going to trim a bit on the top so that image is going to be available right there in my window. I'm going to trim the two sides off. So I'm cutting, well, let me just see how, I want this to be a total of 3.5 inches or less because I don't want the edges of this showing through my window. See, that's perfect. Look there. That's just a perfect match. All Hallows Eve. I'm going to glue that in place. That's why we didn't close this flap yet. And once I have this glued in place, I can go ahead and glue down the, oh, that was a perfect guess. Near perfect. Yeah. I think I'll go a little bit left though. There we go. Quite I like that. Nice fit. I'm going to go ahead and glue this flap on down then. Just makes it easier if you don't attach this yet. It wouldn't hurt if you attached it. You'd have to be gluing under it, and that's just a pain. You don't want to have to do that. And I'm going to glue that down nice and tight. And this is what I have inside now. Okay. I'm going to put that postcard on the back before I get all my mechanism built on the front. Everybody with me?
Has anyone quilled any pumpkins or fall things?
I promised my quilling class we were going to do some next week, so I will show them to you. I don't know what I'm doing yet because I haven't done it yet, but they asked for that in quilling class this week. So,
She has.
Oh yeah, Sharma, you should send pictures. Okay, I'm going to take this tag, this stamp. We're back on this sheet again. And see this little tag over here that says pumpkins? I'm going to cut that out. And I'm going to put that up here. I'm going to put it at kind of an angle. Just because if I put it straight on, everything just looks too organized. I'm going to put it at a little bit of an angle. And I'm going to put a stamp there over that box that says stamp, put postage here. So I'm going to put my pumpkin stamp there, which looks really cute. Okay, so there's the outside of my card so far. All right, now the part you guys have been waiting for. We have these two little hatches, and we actually have to measure something, believe it or not. I know it's a terrible thing that I ask of you, but we actually have to measure something. I want you to find the center up and down. Well, first, I'm coming in and I'm going to draw, I'm going to put in a dot at 1.5 inches. And then I'm going to find the middle. This is 3.5, so that would be 1 3/4. I'm going to measure down 1 3/4, which is almost perfectly where I put my dot. You don't like to measure things, you get good at eyeballing stuff. I'm going to draw a line from my intersect point where those two were. I'm going to draw a line to the corner, and I'm going to draw a line to the other corner. So we're actually going to be cutting a wedge out of here. Okay. You see my line there? 1.5 inches in and 1 3/4 inches down from the top is my dot, and then I drew lines from the corner to my dot.
Alice is asking, can you repeat this step one more time?
Yes, I will. You actually have to measure these. I know it's a terrible thing I ask, but we have to measure these. You're coming in 1 1/2 inch and putting a little dot. And then I want you to measure down from the top 1 3/4 inch. So I want that what I'm really looking for is a point that is 1 3/4 inch down and 1.5 inches in from the side. I'm going to make a dot there. And then I'm going to draw lines from each corner, right camera, from each corner up to that dot. Okay? I like to stack mine up and cut them at the same time. And I'm just cutting from the corner to that dot. So I'm taking a little triangular wedge out of the middle. And what I'm left with is my window. I'm going to come to my card. I'm going to slide these under the top piece. I kind of like to intersect them so they kind of hold each other at the right position. What I mean by that is do this. Oops, I'm off camera. Do this. I kind of like to make them do that underneath so they kind of match up to each other. And what that does is help me make sure I have both pieces at the right level. If I have them this way, I could end up with one glued higher than the other. And then, of course, my window isn't perfect. I'd have a spot there. This is hard with black paper for you to see, I know. We'll do this again and again and again. So there we go. So I have these papers, and I'm going to kind of intersect them in my window to help them. If it doesn't do this, it's not critical, but I do like to kind of put them in together so that they can help me make sure my window's in the right place. I'm going to put glue on these flaps that we have sticking up from those. And I'm going to fold this down so that it pulls that window open. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Put a nice coating of glue here. I would use glue instead of tape for this. You're going to want a really bonded hold.
Hi, Mary R.
Hi, Mary R. Oh, I'm so glad you were here to zap the spammers, Mary. That's your job, and you're good at it. Okay, and here we go. Here's our opening mechanism working beautifully. It opens just the right amount, and it closes to a perfect shutter. Isn't that fun and easy? But you get this wonderful window in the middle. Okay, we are almost done with our first card here. I want to make my band for this card. And for this one, I chose another piece of that black cat band just because I thought that was a pretty match to have the black cats at the top and the bottom and then the black cat band. So let's find one of those. I know there's more here. There's no reason why I couldn't use a piece of this paper, but I believe there's another actual band already on here for us. Let's see if we can find that. You guys think I'm disorganized most of the time. This one gives me cause to keep going back to my paper packs over and over again, and I'm really disorganized. Here we go. There's my other black cat band. I'm going to cut that off the top of the Abracadabra sheet. Not that it matters a whole lot, but when I cut it, I'm going to cut it right on the black line under the cat's feet because the orange band looks good with the pumpkins down below it. So I'm going to cut it right at the cat's feet. I'm just being picky there, but I like it that way. So if I'm doing it, I should tell you what I'm doing and why. Okay, so I got my kitty band. Cutting off this extra strip. And I need to go back to my journaling cards because I believe that's where this came from. Yeah. I might not have. We'll have to figure it out if it's not here. It's been a week or two since I made these now. Lots of journaling cards in here. There it is. There it is. And I wanted this to be just a little bit firmer than a single layer of cardstock. So I also like the color. So I took this one and I mounted it on a piece of orange. So I'm going to keep my cat handy here. And I'm going to find that orange paper. Oh, I just saw it go by. There it is. I don't believe we've cut into that one yet. Yeah, we did. We actually should have a piece of this. Let's see. This is the same paper. Yeah. This is the same paper that we used on the inside. And this should be, it's just, oh, wait. I could probably trim this just a little bit, and I could actually use this bit here. I think I'll do that. I'm going to trim just maybe like one row of my black and white off all the way around. And then I can use this little scrap of orange at the bottom to make my mat for my kitty. There we go. There we go. See, that's perfect. Got it. Retain all the paper we can because this is wonderful paper. Okay. I'm going to glue this on the back. Now you've seen just in this one card, we've had 3 uses for journaling card. Have you noticed that? We used it on our view through the window. That's our All Hallows Eve was in there. And we're using it on our band and matting it. And we used one on the back of our card, didn't we? So we've used journaling cards in 3 different ways this time, which I think is kind of a kick. Cutting this orange just a little down from where I have it. That's nice and even all the way around. There we go. So we've got this pretty matted trick or treat black cat. I'm going to take my band. You notice how I'm calling it my band because you guys don't like it when I use the other words. I'm taking my band. I'm going to wrap it around the front. I don't want to wrap it too tight. I want to still be able to slide this band on and off. So don't cinch it up real tight. Just wrap it around, give it a little bit of extra room. It's 12 inches long. I have a nice overlap there. I'm going to glue underneath here. Just got some glue on my card. I do not want to glue the band in place. I've got it right where I want it. Oops, that's loosening itself up. I don't want that. There we go. I've got my band in place, and I'm going to glue my card right over my seam in my band. So I think I will look at how much room I have. There's 2 kitties on each side. So I'm going to go ahead and put my glue right on the band rather than trying to guess where it goes on the card. I'm going to put my card in place. And we have finished our first card. How long did that take, honey?
53 minutes.
Oh, really? Okay, well, we did all the introduction of things too. If we don't finish all of them, all 6, I will show you what papers to use for everything, okay? But there's our first one. And let's just get going and go straight. Oh, wait, I did put 2 little chipboard pieces on here too. Let's go to our chipboard sheet. Boy, I love these cards. Betty says, I don't mind the B word. Well, everybody always wants to come up with alternate names for it if I call it a B band. So I'm just calling it my band today. Then I don't have to come up with all of the pseudonyms that you guys have for that. Okay, here's my chipboard. It's definitely well die cut because the pieces are trying to pop out all over the place. Just to keep them in one place, I'm going to attempt to leave them in there. I'm going to take one of my spider webs and put it down by the cat's feet. And then there's also a spider, a purple spider, that I'm going to put up in the top corner to just match the background that I have this on.
Alice is asking, will you also share the inspiration cards and let us know how you made them?
Absolutely. I absolutely will. Absolutely will. That's why I made them for you. Okay. I'm going to put this spider in this corner and a spider web right down by his feet. And we have our first card 100% complete. What questions do you guys have about this one so that I can make sure I answer them the next time through? You'll have plenty of chances to get the dimensions of everything because we always use the same. Now, I will tell you something else. After you've done your first one, you could actually use these as a template and you don't have to keep measuring. Because I don't like to measure. I don't like to stop and draw lines and stuff. I just want to cut and glue. Okay. Be careful what you throw away because some of your little these are not great, but some of your little tiny strips will end up being pretty good accents on some of your, you've seen, we've got some little accent pieces here and there. So be careful what you throw away. Let's move this one out of our way because it's done. Let's grab this next one and let's go. This one, we want the fairy paper, the orange witch and fairy paper. It happens to be the stripe on the back, and we're going to use that for several of our things here. So let's get going with that. We need one of our blank cards. Oh, great. Excuse me. I have a little tickle in my throat that requires some of my water. 47 pounds this week. Did you wait? Same? I'm at 47. Bryce is at 28. 27. So that's 27 and 47 is, we should be able to do the 74. Is that right? 27 and 47 is 74 pounds off in our household on our Weight Watchers program. I finally, I'd been on a plateau for a couple weeks, and I finally broke free of that 45. I've been there for a while. That gets frustrating when you're dieting and you just can't move past a certain place. I like this witch right here on this broom. I want her to be on the back of my card. I'm not going to cover this one with a postcard because I like that witch. So I'm going to trim that strip off. And that's where I'm going to cut for my first cut. I want this paper to be 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. That's leaving a 1/4 of an inch border so that I will have 1/8 inch border all the way around my card. I'm on the back and I'm gluing that witch right there because then I have that character that I like. It's just particularly well drawn. So I'm gluing this to the back. I believe in the original she put postcards on all the backs of them. I'm not going to put a postcard on the back of this one. Feel free if you don't like the witch as much as I do. Feel free to post a postcard right over the top of it. But I'm going to do that.
Kim is down 53 pounds.
Who is?
Kim.
Good job. 53. Holy Toledo. That's awesome. Good job. Okay, next I'm going to cut a 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. This one is coming from the orange side.
Hi, Roberta.
Hello, Roberta. We're just starting card number 2. Okay, and this striped piece is going to go on the inside. And you notice we won't have any more trouble from that score line that was in the middle, because we are kind of really reinforcing that by putting cardstock on the back and in the middle of our card. That's kind of a non-existent score line now, because we have I can't see on the black cardstock necessarily where my margins are, so I had to kind of hold it up to see if I had that centered. Okay, there we go. So I've got that. What else did I do here? Take my band off. Oh, I used lots of this time. All right. I'm going to cut one of these 2 1/4 inch strips from here, because I still have one long strip there. 2 1/4 by 6 3/4. And I'm going to put that on my outside panel. I love this paper, this one. I love these stripes. Oops, that was just a little long, wasn't it? Let me see if I can trim just a tiny bit off of that, because I think it was just a little long. Let's try that again so I can see. I'm going to have a little glue to resolve there. It's not a big problem, because I have baby wipes. I'm going to take the baby wipe and I'm going to wipe off my extra glue. I'm not going to get it too wet, but I can wipe off the extra glue and be just fine. Okay, now I'm going to get my other sheet of the same paper. I used a lot of this stripe in this one. If you guys want to change it up, feel free to do that. I just liked the stripe and I liked the effect of these 2 colors together. So I made this card almost entirely out of this one sheet of 2 sheets of paper, but the one design. I'm going to cut a 2 1/4 by 6 3/4 piece of that for the other outside of my card. And it will go right here. Look how pretty that is. That's beautiful. And I still managed to get a little glue there. Wipe that up. So now I have my cover done. I am going to cut 2 more 2 1/4 by 6 3/4 stripes. I'm actually using the other side this time, but I'm going to cut 2 more of those for the inside. And they're going to go over here. And we cut another 2 1/4 by 6 3/4 strip to go on the opposite side. What size bed do you have, Bryce? Roberta's asking.
King.
We have a split king, or a half split king.
Oh, she's asking for Lauren.
Oh,
What size does Lauren have?
does Lauren have?
Queen.
Lauren has a queen size bed, yes. Okay, and next I've still got a nice big piece here. So next I'm going to cut my 3 1/2 by 8 inch strip out of this paper. This is going to be the strip down the middle. 3 1/2 by 8 inches on this one. I'm going to cut a hole in this down about that far. I will grab my Post-it tape and reuse that here to keep my ring in place. Back with my die cut piece. I am okay. I'm going to save my Post-it tape because I can use that over and over again. Never know, that round might come in handy. So I'm going to toss that over there. I need my scoreboard. Using my scoreboard, I'm going to score this at 1/2 inch. Whoa! I fell in, but it's okay. All right. And I'm going to score it at 1/2 inch on the other side. Keep that handy. I'm going to fold this down on the top. I'm going to glue this to the inside. Using plenty of glue on these. I always use just a little. I'm using plenty of glue for this project. I'm gluing that to the top. This time, let's go to our journaling cards.
Thank you. I've ever seen you use the scoreboard before.
Oh, I don't use one unless I have to. It's kind of like measuring. I'm going to keep, no, I think I got that out of a piece of paper because that's complete. Never mind. Okay, so I'm going to look here for my little witch that I put through the window. Here she is. Make sure she isn't on a little card too. Nope, she's not. So I'm going to take this witch from my journaling cards. I'm going to make sure she's going to fit well through my window. And she is just like a perfect fit. Just a perfect fit. I don't even have to trim off the top of this one. I am going to trim the sides a little. See if she's going to fit down under my flap well. I want her right in the middle where I've got a good view of her. I'm going to go ahead and glue her down. Since we'll all be on Weight Watchers, maybe we just want to buy a turkey breast this year instead of a whole turkey for Thanksgiving. Because we can have all the roasted turkey breast we want. But we can't have the dark meat. Well, we can, but it costs more. So, okay, I've got my witch in the window. I'm going to cut my pieces from here. This is going to be, I don't want to confuse you, but I can cut both these at one time. So I'm going to make this 3.5 by 7, let's see, 3 3/4, yeah, by 7.5 long. I'll make this 3.5 by 7.5 inch long. Okay, this is going to be my slides. 7.5 in half is 3 3/4. So there's my 2 3 3/4 by 3.5 strips. I'm going to score this at 1/2 inch. The scores are all easy on this. They're all 1/2 inch, guys. I've got one there. I've got one here. I will give you the dimensions for where you want this, where you want to make your little pen mark. But then I'm just going to use my templates instead of making my marks and drawing. Well, maybe I should make my marks and draw it off one more time. I'm going to score these. I've got them scored. I'm going to fold them up. Now, I'm going to take my ruler. From here on out, I'm not doing this, but I will do it one more time. I want to be 1.5 inches up with my dot. Don't make your dot too big because it could show through your window. And I want to be 1 3/4, it's just right on the money, 1 3/4 inch down. So I made my spot. And now I'm going to draw my cut line from the corner to that dot. At both corners. So I'm creating a little triangle here that we're going to cut out. There we go. I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut that little wedge out. Cut that wedge out again. Now I have...
Alice asks, when you are scoring those pieces, are you scoring down the 3 3/4 inch side?
Your piece is 3.5 wide by 3 3/4 long. So basically this ends up, it comes off the long side.
No.
Yes, it does.
You said that's 3.5 inches.
This is 3.5. This is 3 3/4. I'm scoring on the long measure, on the longer measure. I'm going to trim this black just a little bit because where I used my Sharpie, it still shows a black line there, and I don't want that black line showing unless I have that black line on both sides. It would look fine if I had it on both sides, but I don't because I stacked them up to cut them. There we go. So I just trimmed that out a little bit. Remember, when I put them inside, I want them to kind of intersect because I want them to go in just the right place. So I'm going to put them down that way. Now, since I have this glued in place, I can go ahead and glue this. I'm going to show you a problem I've had a couple times. My score line falls off the bottom of my card. I'll tell you what I've done about that. I'm just not worrying about it. I trim the bottom of my paper and I glue it to the bottom of my card. It doesn't actually have to have a flap down here. Still long. I keep cutting it till I get it the right length. There we go. So, when the score lines just don't match up, cut it off and glue it. I did that on half of my cards probably, where I tell you what's doing it is that this piece is 7 inches long, and when I glued the top, I left my border there. So my score line's falling down too far and coming off the edge of my card. If I left it at 7 inches, I would have been fine. But that's what's doing it. Okay, I'm going to put my windows in. So I'm going to slide this in from this side. I'm going to slide this in from this side. I'm going to try and make them intersect, which they just don't want to really do this time, but I can make them. It's not crucial that they do that. I just personally found that I like the way my windows line up better if they kind of overlap there. Okay, I've got my windows. I'm going to put some glue on this flap. Don't be afraid to really put the glue to this, because these are going to have some stress over time. If you really feel like you need to tape instead of glue, use red tape here. Okay, there's that one. Line those all up again so they're nice and straight. Right where I want them, top to bottom and side to side. I'll put glue on here. And I'm going to close this card. Let those stick good. There we go. There's our window. Working perfectly. Matching up well. Showing our little witch in the middle. Perfect. Now, on my chipboard sheet, I have a little black cat tag. I thought that little black cat tag looked just right up here. So I'm going to put him up on top. I didn't get this one. I would have liked this one to be out just a little further so my entire window was clear. I didn't quite get that perfect this time, but it's okay. It's not going to hurt anything. I'm just going to leave it. Okay, and now I want some decoration for this. And somewhere here I found a black cat with pumpkins. I do not believe it was on a journaling card, so I'm going to look at my papers and see where we had that black cat with the pumpkin. He's not on that one. Oh, he's not on that one. 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 So where did I find him? I want to look at my journaling cards again. Maybe I got the pumpkin and the cat two different places. I'll bet I did. I was looking for a black cat with pumpkins. But I think I got that in two different places because here's my cat. I'm going to take the cat off of here. And yes, I'm going to do the dreaded fussy cutting. It's a very easy trim. And I'm going to use the border of this paper. So don't throw the leftovers of this journaling card away. Because we're going to use that for some borders on our card. I'm not going to try and cut between his feet. I will cut this wedge between his front and back legs out. How am I doing on card number 2? I'm about done. About 30 minutes? Huh? Just about 30 minutes this time. Okay. Okay, I think that's about as fussy cut as I'm going to get on that. Don't throw these because we are going to, so this is on this card, yeah. I'm going to use those strips here and here. So let's cut these strips off also. So now we've had 4 uses for a journaling card. We've done the image inside, glued on the back, put on the belly band. Oh, I used that word, didn't I? Oh, sorry. And fussy cutting out the images and using the images separately. So we have 4 different uses for a journaling card now. I'm going to put these little bands at the top and bottom of my card. On the outside. I'll put them up just a little bit and let the orange pattern show under them too. It's easier if you cut these rather than try and eyeball it and get them to be the right length. And they'll fit better. I like the way these little black and white stripe or black and white pieces look on the front. Kind of breaks things up nicely. I have to find some pumpkins, and I don't think they came off of here. They were full pumpkins, so I'm going to look on my papers. I can keep that just until I'm done. Okay, there, no, that's not the pumpkins either, but that might be the black cat I used on the outside. Let me check and see. Nope, here's a black cat stamp. That's better. Okay, I want the black cat stamp for the outside over here. So I'm going to cut him out of, I think this paper is called Abracadabra. I'm going to take that stamp from here.
Say goodnight to Elsie.
Good night, Elsie.
She had grandkids over today, so.
She's tired, I betcha. Okay, I'm going to put my black cat here. Now on one of these pages, I think it's the pretty one with all the colors and all the different patterns on it, and we've cut one of those. I found, yeah, some nice stamps that were stacked that are smaller. So I'm going to grab one of these stamps that has the black cat and the moon, and I'm going to trim that out of the paper to accent the top of this card. This one has all kinds of fun little images that you could use. You could put this magic in the air, would be just the right size for a window. And I've used this little girl, a little fairy, flower fairy. And you can use the pumpkin images in here and fussy cut those. This little witch on a broom is cute. So I'm going to use that on the outside. And where did I find that smiley pumpkin that I used inside of here? If I don't find it, I'm just going to use one of, it's actually not a smiley pumpkin, it's a kind of ghostly looking pumpkin. But I'm just going to fussy cut one of these, because this will work. So I'm just going to fussy cut myself a little pumpkin to go next to my cat, right out of this purple paper. And on Abracadabra again, I believe there is an All Hallows Eve banner right here. I'm going to cut a piece of that to go inside my card. Okay, so I'm going to put All Hallows Eve right here below my window. Kind of center that. I'm going to put my black cat and my pumpkin down at the bottom. This cat seems to be a little bit bigger. I must have found this on a stamp or something in there. But I'm making it work. Okay, the inside of my card is completely done. On the outside, we've put our 2 black and white bands. We're going to put our stamp at the top of this one, and then we're going to build our band for this card.
Say goodnight to Adeline.
Who's leaving?
Adeline.
Oh, good night, Adeline. Okay, next, I'm going to, we have that pretty pumpkin band. I had you keep the orange strip at the top of that before because that was pretty. Actually, I think now I'm going to cut it off though, because it's actually green at the bottom. I thought it was orange. I just wasn't paying enough attention. So I'm cutting this band out, which is going to be my band on my card, this border. That orange could have gone with the cats. Like I said, it's been a couple weeks now since I made these cards, so remembering everything I did is not my strong suit. Okay, my band is going to go right around here, and that's going to look beautiful with that orange paper and then these pumpkins. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this together. Being careful to line my strips up so I've got a nice band that's all lined up. Hold that for just 1 second. Next, I'm going to use a journaling card on the front of this. Do not glue in place there. Got a little glue on my card. Don't want to glue my band in place. Okay. Okay. I want to go to my journaling cards and find this trick or treat. That's the one. Okay, once again, just to give that a little more stability, I'm going to glue that down to a piece of my orange. As soon as I find it. That's the full sheet. Where's the other sheet of orange? There it is. Oh, that's not the right one. Okay, we got this one, and there should be one that's already cut. There it is. It was just hiding from me. It was hiding, guys. Okay, so I've got my little trick or treat. Now I actually chopped that down just a little bit last time. It doesn't matter if I do or not. I don't need it to make it fits the paper, so I'm just gonna go ahead and glue this on. I don't really have to reduce the size like I did last time. Just matting this on another sheet, which will give my journaling card a little bit of extra stability and a little extra color. I've got my pumpkins on already. This is a nice big card that we're mounting this time. I'm going to go ahead and put the glue on the band itself. You can gauge from the pictures under the band how far you want your glue to go. I'll glue this here. And we have our second card finished. These cards have a few more steps than what we're used to, but you know, we just finished this in about 30 minutes, huh, honey? About 30?
Yeah.
And just a reminder what this looks like inside. I did put a piece of chipboard on my band. We should find that and put it on. Don't get your bands too tight. You want to be able to slide them on and off. So let's go to our chipboard sheet. And I used the boo on this band, honey, right in the corner there. These chipboard really want to pop out. They just really want to be something. We'll let you be something soon. Okay. There. Oops, I didn't glue it yet. I'm going to put this boo right in the corner, the lower right-hand corner, over a couple of the cats. If you don't want to cover up your cats, don't put the boo there. It's as simple as that. But I'm going to put my boo right there. And we have a really beautiful card done. Okay, next up, not taking any time to let the grass grow under my feet. I'm going to grab another black cardstock. What time is it now?
3:38.
Okay, I think we'll do one more of these, then I'll walk you through which papers I used, because you'll have 3 examples to go by, which should be plenty. And then we'll look at the papers I've used in the other 3 for the total of 6 of these shutter cards. And we will look at our inspiration cards also. Let's do the fairies this time. Let's do the fairies. So on the fairy card, I've used the fairy paper on the back, the fairy paper on the front, and I used the fairy paper on the inside. So let's get our fairy sheets. We're going to need both of them. I'm first going to trim this edge off. I'm going to cut this to 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. I'm going to make 2 of those. Come on. Come in now. Another one at 4 3/4. Didn't quite cut it far enough. 4 3/4 by 6 3/4 for the back and the inside. We also want 2 strips at 2 1/4 by 6 3/4. I've got one. I have to go to my other sheet. We got the second one. 2 1/4 by 6 3/4. Okay, I'm going to keep this handy. I'm going to go ahead on this sheet here. The first sheet I cut, I've got lots of this purple. The purple this time is going to be my windows, my shutters. So I'm going to cut this piece right here to be 3 1/2 by 7 1/2, which will be long enough to make both of my shutters. I can cut this in half to 3 3/4. Now I've got 2 sheets that are 3 3/4 by 3 1/2. I can grab my scoring tool and I can go ahead and score these. Let me figure out what I did with the scorer itself. There it is. I'm going to put it over there. Make sure that when you're doing this process, if you've got directional paper, that your characters are going to be the right side up. So I'm scoring them so that when they overlap, they'll both be directionally correct.
The words were displayed in your sample card.
They sure were. Thank you. Yep, in my sample card it was actually the words showing, so Bryce just pointed that out and I fixed it. I'm going to use one of my templates that I already had to get my wedge out of this because it's faster and easier. Once you've done it once, you can use that little wedge you cut out to get your, I need that back. I thought I was going to eyeball that, and then I decided, no, maybe not.
Alice is saying on this card, it looks like you didn't cover the panels on the inside.
I don't always cover the panels on the inside.
On them. Is this correct?
Yes. I didn't always cover the panels on the inside. Absolutely, of course you can. I just chose not to. I kind of liked the black. I had a lot of color going, a lot of pattern going inside, and I just decided to let it be bordered in black. That is an astute observation, my friend. Okay, so I have my shutters done. I need to still do my 3 1/2 by 8 inch panel. And that this time I cut that. I'm just keeping all my pieces here so we can just kind of do a quick assembly job here. Did I cut 2 of these yet? Maybe not. Okay, I want to cut my panel out of this cat paper this time. So here's my cats. Where are my cats? It takes quite a bit of paper to do one of these cards. I have to say, it really does take a fair amount of paper. If you do everything in the same print, it's going to take you almost 2 sheets to do it. Okay, I've already cut the border off of this one, so I'm going to get a 3 1/2 by 8 inch strip of this paper. You'll notice I'm not making my cuts all the way through my paper unless I have to, generally, because I can still use some of these stamps and things along the bottom. So I'm just trying to preserve as much of the paper as possible. So I've got a 3.5 by 8-inch strip. I'm going to score this at a 1/2 inch at the top and the bottom and cut a hole in it. The score lines are really easy on this because everything's a 1/2 inch. I'm going to grab my little ring. I'm going to grab my Post-it tape. Maybe I lose my Post-it tape. I appear to have lost my Post-it tape. Oh, darn me. I don't know how I did that, but that's okay. Oh, I have another piece right here. Tape that in place without any worry about tearing my paper with it, which always makes me happy. Pop that in my machine. Okay, grab my kitties. Pop this off. The Post-it tape is so gentle on my paper. Really like that. Okay, I've got my hole. And I've got my scores. All right, I'm going to look for my journaling card. I want the one with the little pixies on it. There was that cat in the pumpkins on the back of that one. I couldn't find him when I looked last time. They have patterns on both sides, so be sure you check both sides, or you'll end up doing what I did. Cutting it out of something else, which was okay. It wasn't a disaster. Okay, I think I need one more piece of pixie paper for my front, because when I was cutting, I didn't cut enough of them. So I'm going to cut a 2 1/4. I'm going to move it. No, it is up. Okay, 2 1/4 by 6 3/4 strip of my paper for the front of my card. And let's assemble this thing. We have just about everything except our embellishments here. Okay. All right. Let's go. We're going to put one of our larger sheets in the middle. Yeah, you absolutely can cover the sides of this inside if you want to. If you are going to do that, you want to do that before you put these in, because they're gluing to your sides, obviously. I go to the back and put my larger piece on the back. I was looking to see if I put a postcard on here, which you absolutely could put a postcard on the back. We just have such a bright, pretty paper back there. I opted not to. Okay, I'm coming back to the front, and I'm going to put these two little side pieces on. Okay, can you turn that AC on, please? Are you frowning because you're comfortable?
I'm cold.
You're cold. Okay. Clean up a little glue there. Once again, you can do that with a baby wipe or a damp paper towel. Just don't get it too wet. Okay, we're ready to put our insert in the middle. So we'll glue on this tab. And the way the measures are set, it actually wants to go clear to the top of the card, which is why I keep coming off on the bottom, being off in my measures on the bottom, because see, it fits just nicely if I go clear to the top. I think I'm going to give it just a tiny bit of border because it looks like I have a little bit left over. So I'm going to give it a tiny bit of border up there. Make sure it's centered side to side. Looks like a gluey mess right this second, but I'm going to fix that by just wiping off the extra glue. There we go. That looks good. Okay, I'm going to put my pixie card through the window in whatever direction I like. There's a little polka dot, sort of a little check border around them. That will show a little bit. That doesn't bother me. If it does bother you, you could cut a piece off of here instead for your window. I actually kind of like the boo in there too. Let me see if I like this better. I might. I don't know. I can glue this wherever I like. Oh, I like that boo in there too. I'm taking this corner instead. I'm going to cut myself a little corner off of this and take that little boo to be my window. Probably going to cut it about 3 by 3, I'm guessing. That should fit nicely inside my window. I actually like that better than what I had originally. That's cute with the little boo. I like that. So I'm going to put some glue on here. Are you guys all clear as mud on how to make a shutter card? What kind of questions do you have for me? That's perfect. I like that a lot. I'm going to go ahead and glue this flap at the bottom. If it goes over the edge, I will cut it off instead and glue it at the bottom. No great shakes. That looks so cute. Okay. I wanted my words here. Make sure your words are right side up. We'll interlock them to get them in the right place. So that they will behave nicely. And then position them so that they're closing right in the center of your card, which is where I was remiss last time. Huh. Huh. I wonder if my cat paper was just a little too wide, because I'm having a little bit, a tiny little speck showing in the center of my window. I'm not going to worry about it. But the window didn't close entirely, which tells me this may have been just a little wider than I intended for it to be. No big deal. Close that. Glue on this one. Close that. I have my shutters working. They do open entirely, which I'm pleased with. I like that. Okay, I used this moon inside my card on the bottom, which I thought was kind of fun. Looks like these gatefold could be used to make an album. Have you ever demonstrated an album? I have not. I actually am thinking about making an album for Christmas, though. That's beautiful. Okay, now, what did I use for the border on that? I kind of think, what did I use? Let me look at my border sheet again. Because I used a couple border pieces here, and they don't. Oh, no, that's not them. Don't fully recognize. So let me see. Oh, I know what I used. Up here at the very top. No, that's not it either. Okay, I'm wrong. Let's see. What did I use for that border? Let me look. Might have been a journaling card. Let me look. Really cool border. Just not sure where I got it. Is that where I got it? That sure looks like where I got it. Okay. Let's make sure it is on one of these others. Let me make sure it's not on a journaling card before I cut into my paper. Yeah, pretty sure that's where I got it. Oh, look here. That's where I got it. Hey, it's a good thing I kept looking. I took my border strips for the bottom from right here on a journaling card. I think I'm going to have to use both sides because when you cut off the corners, I don't think it's long enough to cut both sides from. And I turned it upside down. That's the one I used. So I'm going to come right here with this. I'm going to cut this to 2 1/4. Huh, and that's 2 1/4. They're perfect. Okay. So one border did it. I'm going to put these down at the bottom just to give that bottom a finished edge. I seem to be messy with my glue today. I'm usually not too bad, but I'm messy with my glue today. Okay, don't get my paper soft. Just wipe the glue off. Okay. I got your card with the angel. Roberta is beautiful. I didn't bring it out today, but it's gorgeous. I love it. Okay, we got that. Now, and we're done on the inside. We only need a couple stamps on the outside and a band. Let's find our stamps. I really like these border and stamp sheets. They're just so useful. Oops, don't slide away. Okay. And on the outside of this one, I did a black cat and a full moon, which I'd almost be willing to bet came from. Maybe I'll leave that piece whole and come up here and get them on this side, since I've already cut this. I'll just cut these moons off, these stamps. Okay. Here's one moon. Here's one black cat. We have an extra stamp for a different project. Next, we'll build our band. I kind of like my stamps to be at an angle. All right, the card is done. Let's get our band going here. We are using for our band a piece of kitty paper. Let's see what we have for a piece of kitty paper. On that side, there's kitty paper. I just made the decision just a second ago not to cut through here, so I'd have that. That's good, because now I need it. I'm going to cut a 2-inch piece from there. Yeah, it's about 2 inches I used on that one. I just used the stamps. Oh, hello. My other cards decided to jump down and join me when I bumped it with my paper cutter. Okay. Let's see how many of these I need. I might be able to salvage one of these stamps with the overlap. Let's see if I can save one. Yes, I can. I can save that black cat. I'm going to save one extra stamp there that isn't absolutely needed there. I'm going to wrap my band around. I only have a little overlap, but I only need a little overlap. Look at that piece of paper. That is true as it should be. It's still not matching up. What am I doing? On the other side. It's just wider on one end than the other end, so clearly I didn't cut something straight. Okay, let's try it again. Huh, it matches. Yeah, yes. Okay, I only have a little bit of overlap this time, so I'll put a little glue right here. Remember, don't get these bands too tight, or they won't want to slide on and off your card, and that will annoy you. We're going to look for a journaling card that has black cats across the bottom. It's one of the backs, so I'm going to look for, there it is right there. We're going to take this. We're also going to get a piece of our all over purple, which we haven't cut yet.
These shutter cards would be cute with kids' pictures under the shutter.
Oh, they'd be adorable. They would be adorable, or even whole family pictures under there, you know, if you have a small print. That'd be gorgeous. I love that idea. Okay, I'm going to glue this tag onto my purple paper and mat it just so it has a little bit more substance to it. Won't be getting all bent up as my band. That looks good. And I'm going to get my Hocus Pocus band, or my Hocus Pocus chipboard, and put right down under Boo in the center of my tag. This is the one with the fairies on it. Okay, we're going to put this here. Move this tag right to the front of my band. And we have finished the third card. How are we doing for time?
4:07.
4:07. So 2 hours, 3 cards, including our first one, which always takes more time. Let's look at our other 3, and we'll follow the papers really carefully, and we'll talk through the steps again. Is everybody clear as mud on how to make a shutter card? What kind of questions do you guys have while I get ready to go through the others here? These would be cute with pet pictures in them too. I used to take Amy and get her picture taken. One of the charities in town did a photo shoot at Thanksgiving or at Halloween, and you could have their pictures, their pictures taken in Halloween decor or Christmas. You get a Christmas photo at the same time. And I always took Amy and got her pictures taken. She would have been so cute in the center of one of these. So you can see we've made 3 really generous cards. I mean, cards that take a lot of paper and a lot of supplies, and yet we still have a lot of supplies left. Look at all our chipboard. We still have a huge stack of journaling cards left. I'm going to just gather those here so we can find what we're looking for. And we have a good supply of paper left. I really scattered those journaling cards. Don't throw any scraps of any consequence away until you're done, because you never know what you might want to use. Because there's just so many fun decorative elements on all of these things. I mean, like this brown paper here. This could be a great strip across the bottom. Okay, so let's grab our next card and just talk through it. So this one is being backed and fronted with this beautiful paper. This paper's called Magic in the Air. It is a floral design. It is a little bit directional, so watch for that. On the inside of this card, I have used this for the far back, and then the back side of this is purple, so I've used the purple from the back. You'll need both sheets to do this, But I've used the purple from the back to do this one, and this one. Okay. You know that you're cutting 2 sheets that are 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. That will fit here and here in the back. These are 2 1/4 by 6 3/4, as are these. This is all cut out of the same paper. That's why you're going to need 2 sheets to do it, because you're going to need 6 1/2 or 6 3/4 inch running sheets. This purple piece here is cut to be 3 1/2 by 8 inches. You're scoring a 1/2 inch at the bottom, 1/2 inch at the top. You're cutting approximately a 2-inch hole, 2 1/4 inch hole. This piece here, if you cut it in one piece, is 7 1/2 by 3 1/2 inches. Cut it in half, then each one of those sides is 3 1/2 by 3 3/4. You'll score these at 1/2 inch. And you know how to put all that together now. We used the Trick or Treat with the pumpkin chipboard at the bottom, which I think was adorable. And this time I used a little flower fairy under the mushroom cap. Yeah, that's good, honey. Come clear in. And I also, for this piece here, I used a different sheet of paper. I used this one, which is called Hallows Eve, and you have the pumpkins on the back. Okay. Our band is made using a strip from our border sheet from Abracadabra, I believe. Yes, right here on the Abracadabra sheet, we have this beautiful border that matches this paper perfectly. Okay. I used the Trick or Treat journaling card with the pumpkins at the bottom. There it is. It's on the back of the witching hour. The Trick or Treat with the pumpkins on the bottom. And you have a beautiful piece of chipboard that matches this perfectly. We have those little purple flowers right here. So that's what I put on the band. I did put this over. Did I put this over another journaling card? I actually think I think I glued that. I did. I cut this one down just a bit, and I put this journaling card over the top of another journaling card to get my border. So I layered those up to get that green border. Come in closer, honey. Actually, I could just go ahead and do this. Let me trim this down a little bit. Let's see. Uh-oh, I trimmed it just a little too much, but I definitely did. I cut off my tea, just trying to hurry, but I just layered it up like that to make a cute tag. Can't believe I just did that, but you know, sometimes I'm a goofball. Trim this off a little bit, glue it back in. I'm gonna fix it because that just really bugs me that I did that.
You don't have OCD.
Huh?
You don't have OCD.
It is what it is. Up there. I'll glue this here. Nobody will ever know I did that. I hate it when I get in a rush. Huh?
Rick or treat.
Rick or treat, yeah. I have an uncle named Rick. Ray says we could send this to Lorraine, his wife, and say she gets Rick or treat. Think nobody would ever know I did that now. Only you, me, and anybody else watching. So there's my journaling card. And I'm putting my chipboard here and we're making our belly band. So I used that word again, didn't I? Okay, let's look at our next one. Okay, this one really features the black cat. I used purple words on the back and I framed this flyaway witch. Oops, well, you're way in.
You told me to.
Okay, I used the purple words on the back and then I framed that with a journaling card, with this journaling card right here. And that's all I did to the back. On the front, I had the kitties, 2 1/4 by 6 3/4. I cut this piece, which is 3 1/2 by 8, scored a 1/2 inch at the bottom and the top. I used some extra little kitties. I'm not sure if it was off this paper or border, doesn't matter. I used some more little kitties along the bottom. I do want to show you what I did right here. When I got this one done, for some reason I don't fully understand, I didn't completely meet. My 2 sides didn't meet entirely in the middle, which was really bugging me. So I cut myself a little, I'm going to say 1/2 inch piece of black, and I glued it onto one side so that from the top, it just looks black and it covered that gap I had. And then on the inside, I completely disguised the fact that I did that by taking this little thin border, which is on the border and stamp sheet, the Abracadabra, and I filled it in with this pumpkin saying, and I put that right along the seam where I added that paper. So there's a little trick. If it doesn't meet up just perfectly, you don't have to deal with it. Add a little extra strip there. On the inside of this one, we've talked about this. We've talked about this. We've talked about this. This is just the purple. You know, we're cutting that to 7 1/2 by 3 1/2. Then we're cutting that one in half. We're scoring these at a 1/2 inch. And this trick or treat, I believe, is a journaling card. Let's see if we can find that. Trick or treat with the kitty. Should have one because I didn't use it to cut up like I did the first time. Where'd I hide it? Well, I used trick or treat with a cat anyway. I'm sure it's here. If not, you can always use a different image. I didn't use this one's really cute, this fly. That's really cute. That would have matched the inside of this. I always like this one. I don't know what I did with that cat. Anyway, you can use any number of things, as you know. Well, there are more journaling cards sitting around here. So I used the cat on the inside of that one. On the band for this one, I used Trick or Treat with the witch flying and the cats across the bottom. I just backed this in some of my black cardstock that I included for you and used a piece of my cat paper for the band. So we've got that one. We have one more to look at, then we'll look at our sample, our inspiration cards. Okay, this time I used The Magic is in the Air all over print paper. I love that. That's just so cute. I used it on the front and the back. I used it on this inside panel. This time I love the way these played together. I used this green pumpkin paper. When I went to embellish this, I cut the word magical off of a scrap and put it right here. I put a piece of the chipboard here. I thought was beautiful. And I love the way these orange play with the black inside. It's just beautiful. So there you go. On this journaling card, I've taken the pumpkins, and then I took this larger one right here. I took this and I put on the journaling card. Then I used a leftover piece of my stripe to mount that on, or you could use a piece of your black. We've hardly used the black I included, so you could certainly border this in black if you prefer. And I used that really pretty pumpkin border off the borders and off the Abracadabra sheet. Isn't that pretty? And I think we've talked about everything there. What kind of questions do you have? Hi, Lisa D. Would you please tell me? Oh, what does that say? The notch. What are the measures for the notch? You're going to take your 3.5 by 3 3/4 inch papers. You're going to score the longer side of the paper a 1/2 inch. And then you're going to come up on that paper and you're going to measure into your paper. Nice to see you there, Lisa, by the way. Everybody welcome Lisa. She's a new local customer who got her kit and is joining in today. You are measuring up 1.5 inches, and then you're measuring in from the side to 1 3/4 inches. You're finding that intersect dot, and then you're drawing a line from there to the corner of your paper. Oh, is this Lisa from North Carolina? I thought this was Lisa from Tiger. Oh, okay. Yes, sorry. Sorry, I get confused. So I cut that notch out, Lisa. And once you've measured that off, once you can use this as a template to just keep cutting those, so you don't even have to measure them from that point in. These are really, really fun cards to make. I'm telling you, they are really, really fun to make. Any other questions? That was great.
Let's see the inspiration cards.
Yes, let's do the inspiration cards. These, I did not send you the card blanks for these. I did not send the mirror board, but I just wanted to show you some things. Yeah, I mean, there's so many things you could do with these. You could certainly make more of the shutter cards if you wanted to out of the leftover pieces. So this one, I did a 5x7. I cut this is a journaling card with the pumpkins around it, and I just cut a piece of mirror board to go between them. And I just think for a leftover card, it's so cute. It's so cute. So that's what I did with that one. I just used the journaling card, mirror board, and my 5x7 card. This one is a 6x6. Those sheets here, you're going to have a few of these left, depending on what you cut to, use off the other side. You're going to have a few of these left. So on this one, I just took a 6x6. I covered a 6x6 card, and I took a piece of my chipboard that says All Hallows Eve. I tied a little gray piece of ribbon to it just for fun and attached that. That's all I did to it. But it's so cute. Here is one of my journaling cards. This is copper. I said orange mirror board. It's actually not. This is actually copper colored mirror board. And it just really works well with this kit. Can you back up just a tiny bit, honey? I feel like I'm laying these down in order to show them. There we go, right there. Okay, so we've got this copper mirror board and the black card, and I love the way those play together. Here's one of our 6x6 panels. And what I like about this one is I just mounted it to a 6x6 card and I added some chipboard. But what I loved in the chipboard is it's these little spider webs. And if you can see in the pattern, this all has kind of a spider web look to the back of it. And I love those little chipboard spider webs just stuck in there. And then I added a chipboard witch in the corner. I just think it turned out cute as bug's ear. Here's Hocus Pocus with the fairies again. I had a leftover fairy sheet, so I cut that to 6x6. It's only just ever so slightly larger. I actually mounted it to my carton and cut it off. And I added the Abracadabra to the fairies. This is actually left over from the big image of the witch. And I just cut this down to, put my hand on it right now. There's a big image of the witch. You guys know that. You've seen it over and over again as we've gone through the papers. I cut that down. I put it on purple mirror board. I don't know if you can tell. It almost looks black there, but it's purple mirror board. And I took the word spooky that was on a scrap here. I cut out the word spooky. I mounted it on some black cardstock. That's all I did, but I love this one. This is just fun. This one, I covered my background with the green pumpkin paper. And then I took a journaling card that said Hocus Pocus in the middle, and it had the pumpkins and the purple flowers. I mounted that on some copper mirror board, and I put that on some black mirror board. And I want you to see that triple matting effect is just really nice. Or the extra double mat, I guess it is technically. But I just love the way that came out. And then this one is also, yes, this is also one of the 6x6s, but I cut it down to make it just the inside frame. I put copper behind that, and I mounted that on some of my spiderweb paper. And then across the top of one of our sheets, this one, and here's that witch I was trying to find a minute ago, I cut out this trick or treat right here, and I put that right under the bat. I just thought that looked cute there. And this was that witch. Just take the part you like the best and make that a 6-inch card. So I got 14 cards in total, and I only had tiny, tiny scraps of stuff left. I had 8 inspiration cards, 6 of the shutter cards. That makes my cards, allowing a little bit for the mirror board and stuff that is not included in your kit. These are still less than $3 a card. So that's just outstanding where card prices are concerned. And you're making such beautiful, elaborate cards. People aren't going to believe you made this yourself. They're just not going to believe it because they're just so fun and interactive and beautiful. They're just not going to believe you made these yourself. You guys want to see what we're doing Thursday? In case you haven't had enough Halloween, we're coming back with Halloween again. I have to admit, I think I told you, I actually woke up one night in the middle of the night, almost came back to the shop to make another one of these shutter cards because they were just so much fun to make. And so when Brittany said she wanted me to make some cards using this stamp set, I thought I can use that stamp, but I have to probably use some more of that G45 paper because I was having so much fun with it that I did use this stamp set. I'll show you where, and you can use it. I mean, it's actually a really cute little stamp set. It's got the haunted house stamp. It's got two different ghosts. It's got scary looking branches. It's got a skull. It's got tree. It's got 3 tombstones. It's got a black cat. It's got bats. It's got owls. It's really a fun little stamp set. So Brittany wanted me to use that. And this is the card I used that on. Here's my stamping on the inside. In this case, I masked off the house and the ghost. I stamped in all of my other elements, and then I colored it with some gray ink. And then I removed my mask and just used a water brush and kind of came in closer to the ghost so that he didn't look like he had a shadow around him. And I kind of did the same thing to the house. I came in around the house a little bit and colored in around there so it wouldn't have kind of a shadow around it. But we're going to work on pop-up cards this week. That's our theme, is pop-up cards. But we had this beautiful paper, this haunted house paper in the Charmed paper pack. So I used the Charmed paper pack. This is actually one of my 5x7 black and white or black cards. I actually cut it down to make it 5x5 and then gave you a 5¼ inch envelope to match it. So you're not going to find a 5x5 card in your kit. You're going to find a 5x7 in your kit. And we're going to cut that down. And then inside, I made the pop-up mechanism, which we'll be talking about. And on this one, in this kit, I used what I had here at my desk is I had the Midnight Tales Ephemera. So I used the Charmed paper pack with the Midnight Tales Ephemera. Some of the images in this are going to look familiar because I used the Midnight Tales Ephemera. This one, I did the pop-ups in different ways. This one is kind of a manual pop-up, but we got the trick or treat. No tricks, all treats inside this one. And I love this one. I thought that was fun. This one I used a little bit of ribbon. I covered my background with this beautiful purple and green paper. I'm amazed they even made that a Halloween design, but they did. And so I used this really pretty purple and green that they included. I took one of the images out of my paper pack and I actually mounted that on black cardstock so it was a little bit more firm. I wrapped the corners in black ribbon and then put it up on some foam squares so that it would stand up a little bit and be a little bit more dimensional. And then I added the ink from the ephemera pack. This one does not pop up. It's the only card I made that didn't, but I just loved the inside of it already. I didn't want to add any more elements to the inside. I just thought it was fun. So I left it alone. Sometimes you just got to leave it alone. Here's one of my images from my paper pack. I have mounted it on black cardstock to just kind of make it stand out from my background. Put it on a 5x7. This one has Charmed, and Charmed stands up. And this one says, if the broom fits. So I've got my witch flying on the outside, my witch flying on the inside, and if the broom fits. This one's got a little purple ribbon behind it. I used a DL card, and I gave you enough black cardstock to cover your DL. And this one opens up with, it's got the cats on the top of my step. It's got Hocus Pocus in the inside, and then just some pretty little trim strips. This is a nice thick card. This might be hand delivery because it's a heavy one, but it's fun. And I love the pop-up mechanisms in them. So we'll talk about how to do those if you haven't done those before. Here's Boo. I thought this one was just like a perfect little girl card. We've got the 2 patterns of paper on the front. I matted these sweet, happy pumpkins on some black cardstock just to kind of separate it a little bit. Use some stickers out of my sticker pack, and I believe this is a sticker too. Because we're using the 12 by 12 paper pack from Charmed, you get the sticker sheet as well. So you get black cardstock, you get the sticker sheets. We're going to use the ephemera, and then you're getting all your cardstocks and things in here. And here's my Hey Pumpkin. I just thought Hey Pumpkin with the happy pumpkin and the little girl and the Boo on the inside just made this just a perfect card for a younger girl. You know, isn't that just sweet? I thought it was really fun and sweet looking for a younger person. And here is, I couldn't help myself, guys. I tried. I yelled no, and I still did it. You get one more of these Shutter cards because it was just so much fun. I just had to make one more in this set. I thought maybe some people would get shut out on this one, and I wanted to make sure everybody got to make one of these. So there we go. That's our cards for Thursday. So we are not done with Graphic 45 yet. We will be having lots more fun on Thursday. This kit is also $29.95. You can make way more cards than this. I may make a few more inspiration cards between now and Thursday, but you can get, and I got this band tight, you can get way more cards than I've shown you here from this pack, and I'll try and get a couple more fun cards done for you before Thursday. But okay, are there any questions, comments, or pearls of wisdom? We are going to be headed into we'll be working soon on our next, as a matter of fact, after we finish the Halloween, we will be working on our Craftaganza Christmas cards. So we're going to do 2 out of each. We're going to do 2 out of each kit, or out of each luxury set. There's 8 toppers to a luxury set, and we're going to do 2 of each. So next Saturday, we'll be doing Christmas cards. So that'll be exciting. I believe it's Christmas cards. I could be misspeaking. We also have some fall Thanksgiving cards too, but I believe it's next week. I'll have to look at my calendar. And any of what's Alice asking? I can't see the words.
Will you be doing any Thanksgiving cards this year?
Yes, that's what I was just saying. I do know that there is at least 1, if not 2 Thanksgiving sessions that are scheduled. I haven't done them yet, so I can't show them to you, but there are at least, I believe there's 2 fall, autumn card sets. That's good. Bryce got the calendar when all else fails.
13th and October 20th are autumn hunky dory cards.
Okay. Did you guys hear that? The 13th and the 20th. Those are both Thursdays?
Thursdays.
They're both on Thursdays, and we're going to do Thanksgiving cards, and I'll have kits to work with on those. Those are going to be hunky-dory Thanksgiving cards. And then, like I said, next Saturday when we're starting the Christmas.
Yes.
Okay.
Dory, Cute Christmas.
Cute Christmas is next Saturday. I haven't made the cards yet, so I can't show you what they look like, but that's what's coming up. We have lots in store for you guys, just so much. So if you're out there and you've enjoyed this video, be sure you hit the thumbs up. It's great for our relationship with YouTube, but it's also great for me because it kind of gives me an attaboy, and I love looking at those thumbs up. They make me happy. So hit that thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, you can tell based on today, you don't want to miss a single episode. Hit that subscribe button while you're out there, and then you can be notified of more videos that are coming up. As usual, we'll be here on Wednesday for What's New Wednesday, starting at 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time. We'll be here next Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern time. And we'll be back next Saturday with our very first Christmas of the season, and that will be at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. If there are no questions, comments, or pearls of wisdom, I'm going to sign off and just say good night, Gracie.